Welcome back to World's News, where we present you the hottest news from all over the entire world. This week's topics are Afghans selling their organs to survive, the Djokovic story summed up, coca waffles, a clearly visible vaccination card, and if herpes is a cause of multiple sclerosis. We really hope that you'll enjoy this week's news, so let's jump right into the video. Afghans selling their organs to survive. In most countries, living can be quite expensive. There are taxes to pay on your wages, sometimes extra margins for insurances, let alone food and a place to live. This is hard to keep going for people all over the world, even for some people in European or American countries. In some places in the world, people don't have enough money to feed their families or to have a place where they can live with their families, especially in countries where there have been wars or other crises. People are short on almost everything, so there has been a cruel trend developing in Afghanistan. An increasing number of Afghan people is forced to sell their kidneys to survive, and at least these surgeries are performed by real doctors with sterile equipment. But many Afghans aren't aware of the consequences that living with only one kidney can have. When living with only one kidney, there is a chance of having high blood pressure when getting older. Most people who are living with only one kidney don't get any problems concerning their health, but there is a chance of this happening. But still, if you're willing to sell your kidney just to have you or at least your family survive the next years, you'll probably accept this possibility as well. We at World's News hope that this trend won't develop much further, so if you want to help, go to these links in the description where you can donate money to Afghanistan or other countries with similar problems. The Djokovic story. So, by now, you've probably all heard of tennis star Novak Djokovic. Coming from Serbia, the 9 times winner of the Australian Open went to Melbourne to become 10 times winner of the Australian Open. Well, at least you thought so. But after arriving in Melbourne, Djokovic was soon taken in to be questioned about his vaccination status. An Australian court then ruled his stay in Australia as illegal, even though he was invited to the Australian Open, but the COVID laws have to be respected by everybody. So Novak Djokovic was flown out of the country and excluded from the Australian Open, which angered his country, his fans and some colleagues in the tennis game. Since he is still opposed of vaccination, he might be banned from the French Open later this year as well, but we'll probably see about that very soon. What are your thoughts on this Djokovic story? We'd love it if you told us in the comments, so feel free to argue down there whether Novak Djokovic should be excluded from the French Open as well or not. Coca waffles. Coca-Cola's great, right? Now get ready for Coca waffles, but for real. Soon 4 men will have to face drug smuggling charges, but wait until you hear why. A few years ago, police raided a warehouse, found a Belgian waffle lorry and was probably left speechless because inside they found 10 million British pounds worth of cocaine. The 4 men accountable for this got caught in 2019 and have now admitted drug charges following this very 10 million pounds cocaine raid. Sentencing has now been deferred until the 15th of February in Edinburgh. Clearly visible vaccination card. Have you had enough of people always wanting to see your vaccination card? So did these men, and they had the idea of printing their vaccination cards on t-shirts. Now, personally, I don't really know how useful that really is, because most authorities probably wouldn't accept a picture of a legal document. But maybe I'm just sustaining art because this is really creative. Feel free to let us know what you think about that in the comments, and let's jump right into the next topic. Is herpes a cause of multiple sclerosis? On January 13th, a group of scientists from Harvard University found out that the Epstein-Barr virus might be the cause of many multiple sclerosis infections. Now, that probably didn't mean much to you, but let me explain the Epstein-Barr virus as well as multiple sclerosis, starting with the first one. The Epstein-Barr virus, or EBV, is also known as human herpes virus 4 and therefore a member of the herpes virus family. Its symptoms are, for example, fatigue, fever, an inflamed throat, swollen lymph nodes in the neck, an enlarged spleen, a swollen liver, or a rash. Once you had the EBV, the virus mostly becomes inactive in your body, but there were cases where the virus reactivated. Many people get the virus in their childhood, where it usually doesn't cause any symptoms. Until now, the Epstein-Barr virus wasn't considered lethal, but a few days ago, Harvard scientists found out that it could be a main reason for many multiple sclerosis infections. Multiple sclerosis, or MS, on the other hand, can be lethal, even if treated. It's a chronic disease which affects the central nervous system, the brain, and the spinal cord. So, what basically happens when you're affected with MS is that your immune system attacks nerve fibers and myelin sheeting in the brain and the spinal cord. But I don't want to get too much into the human medicine. There are various courses of MS, for example, the relapsing remitting MS, the secondary progressive MS, the primary progressive MS, and the bending MS. Now, MS itself mostly isn't fatal, but complications of the disease, like lung infections or cardiovascular diseases, which I talked about in the last video, increase the chance of MS ending in death. But since this topic is taking much time already, I'm gonna make the consequences of this milestone in the research of MS quick. Alberto Ascirio, professor of epidemiology and nutrition at Harvard, said that this is a big step because it suggests that most MS cases could be prevented by stopping EBV infection, and that targeting EBV could lead to the discovery of a cure for MS. These were the most important and funny news from the past week. If you missed any topics or regions, please let us know in the comments, and please consider liking and subscribing since it's free and helps us out a ton. But now to this week's bonus fact. 1 kilogram of feathers weighs as much as 1 kilogram of iron.